causes narcolepsy. Preface. I had to think about manipulating everyone, having faces for every situation, responses to every situation. While I'm being forced to study, while I'm underweight and can barely think, while my teeth are getting ruined by carbs and this is also ruining my brain due to nerve damage. Then being bored, existential dread, all kinds of issues. Being stuck at home, bad place at school, bad place outside. There is nothing to do outside except walk around. And I'm tired, so it doesn't work. Then I'm trying to learn about my health issues, then I'm trying to actually do something with art, etc. Then I'm getting threatened, and this is stressful. Insomnia, obsessive compulsive thoughts, being blamed and shamed and gaslit. So of course all that is very stressful. I don't know if other people who have narcolepsy have been through all kinds of things like that over a long period of time before developing it or while developing it. I needed more and more sleep. I was getting more and more tired and I don't know why I was thinking about all those issues I mentioned, of course. Thought that was causing it, but in the end, the reason that was causing it was my cranial bones grinding on my brain. When your muscles get tired, they can't support your bone structure anymore, and your brain starts grinding on the cranial bones, which makes you tired because it's your brain is nerves, and that nerve function is maintaining the function of your body and muscles, which are already exhausted. And you force yourself to stay awake. How? By pushing the sphenoid bone with your muscles against a gland in your brain that is about sleeping and wake hormones. And you disturb your hormonal functioning like that to be awake when you should be sleeping. And you can do this accidentally by mewing. Top it off while mewing at night, you force that bone again there, which is why you can get insomnia. On top of the action itself, you have to think to do it, you have to struggle to do it. Then you have to innervate muscles, and itself mewing is stressful and causes problems. So of course that will create a lot of problems. In the end, I had to learn to rewire my body structure and alignment of cranial bones by neural function. How my brain activates and uses my muscles to release that gland of the brain and to control my sleeping and waking. This has to do with all kinds of emotions, all kinds of hormones, all kinds of situations, including boredom and inhibited thinking. I went from sleeping 10 hours a day to 14 hours a day. And I am still falling asleep while I'm awake after 14 hours and I don't feel well rested. Because that bone is grinding on my brain and on that gland, that my brain can't get released and recover properly. While you're sleeping and your brain is pressured and doesn't recover properly, the whole point of sleep is for your brain to recover. And because of mewing, your brain cannot recover. And as soon as you start getting awake, you start activating those muscles which were asleep, which were pushing that bone in your brain, which makes you tired as soon as you wake up, because you wake up and you don't know what's happening. And I only know because I was trying to understand what is wrong with me and couldn't think about anything almost. And the only thing I could be able to think about was waking up and falling asleep, because that was the only time I was kind of aware of anything almost to the highest degree I could possibly be, was between waking up and sleeping, because that was the time that the muscles weren't activated and pressuring my brain yet, and it was the time that I had been rested the longest, which would mean the most recovery, and the longest time that those muscles haven't been active. Of course, they were active probably for a long period of it and then deactivate maybe later during the sleep. So then they deactivate or activate to a very weak degree. I start waking up, I start being able to think, and the more I wake up, the more they activate on their own. And they start pressuring me and start being sleepy again. I almost got run over one morning because of this. I'm usually hyper aware because I am stressed with my physical surroundings, and this is unusual for me to happen. And because a lot of the time before, people were constantly bugging me when I was trying to space out and think, as if it wasn't difficult enough to do before. I also had intrusive thoughts about not thinking because I couldn't control my brain and my thoughts. So I would try not to think, which would make me think more.